Gentlemen, if you're over 50 and waking up multiple times a night just to use the bathroom, maybe someone has told you it's normal. But let me be clear, it is not normal, and it is not harmless. Yes, age plays a role, but age is not the main reason. I've treated men in their 62nd and 72nd who still sleep soundly through the night. The difference often comes down to small, overlooked habits. Habits that quietly inflame your prostate, irritate your bladder, and chip away at your energy and confidence. And here's the problem: almost no one warns you. Not your friends, not your family, and sometimes not even your doctor. I'm Dr. Strong, and for more than 30 years, I've been helping men reclaim their health, restore their energy, and regain control over their lives after 50. I've seen firsthand that you don't need dangerous pills or invasive procedures often. You just need the right knowledge and the courage to act on it. In this video, we're going to uncover the 10 hidden habits that fuel prostate growth and restless nights. More importantly, I'll show you how to reverse them naturally. And at the end, I'll share a 15-second nightly ritual my patients use to calm the bladder, reduce pressure, and finally sleep through the night again. So if you're ready to stop believing that frequent bathroom trips are just part of aging and instead take real control of your health, stay with me. Let's begin with habit number 10, a mistake almost every man makes without realizing it. Let's start with one of the most common mistakes men over 50 make: cutting back on water in the evening. It sounds logical, right? Drink less water, make less urine, fewer bathroom trips. But here's the truth. This habit often backfires. When you deprive your body of water, your urine becomes darker, more acidic, and far more irritating to the bladder. That irritation creates pressure, and that pressure pushes directly against your already sensitive prostate. The result? You may actually feel the urge to urinate more often, not less. I remember a patient, John, who proudly told me, "Doc, I stopped drinking water after 6 p.m. so I wouldn't wake up at night." Yet he was still waking 3 or 4 times, frustrated and exhausted. Once I explained the science and encouraged him to hydrate consistently through the day, sipping small amounts from morning until late afternoon, everything changed. He began sleeping longer stretches with fewer interruptions. The key is balance. Don't wait until you're thirsty. That means you're already behind. Aim for light, clear urine during the day. That's your body's signal of good hydration. In the evening, simply taper water about 90 minutes before bed, instead of cutting it out completely. Gentlemen, water isn't your enemy. It's one of your greatest allies. Proper hydration reduces bladder irritation, calms inflammation, and supports the prostate's natural healing. Takeaway: drink steadily through the day. Taper gently before bed, but never deprive your body of water. Now, if cutting back on water isn't the solution, what about the other habit most men fall into after retirement, spending long hours sitting? Let's dive into habit number 9. Another silent habit that works against your prostate is sitting for too long without movement. After 50, many men enjoy well-deserved rest reading, watching television, solving puzzles, or scrolling on the phone. But here's what most don't realize. Prolonged sitting places constant low-level pressure on the pelvic region. That pressure reduces blood flow, slows nutrient delivery, and prevents waste removal around the prostate. Over time, inflammation builds and symptoms creep in. More urgency, weaker flow, or discomfort while sitting. I remember Frank, a retired school principal. He spent most of his day in a recliner, telling me with a laugh, "Doc, I earned this rest." And yes, he had, but his body was paying the price. Once I asked him to stand up every 30 minutes, just stretch, walk to the window, or move around the house, his symptoms began to ease. Within 2 weeks, he was sleeping better. Within a month, he felt lighter and more in control. The truth is, our bodies are built to move. Movement isn't only about fitness or weight loss. It's about circulation, energy, and keeping your organs alive and nourished. Here's a simple rule. Every 30 minutes, stand. You don't need a gym membership. Just stand, stretch, or walk for a minute. Those micro movements release pressure, restore blood flow, and remind your body it's still active. Takeaway: a still body invites silent problems. A moving body invites healing. Now, what about that morning coffee ritual so many of us love? Could caffeine be quietly making your symptoms worse? Let's explore habit number 8. Let's talk about something close to many men's hearts, that morning cup of coffee. For men over 50, caffeine can quietly make prostate symptoms worse. Here's why. Caffeine is a stimulant. It doesn't just wake up your brain, it wakes up your urinary system too. It increases urine production and overstimulates the bladder muscles. For men with an enlarged prostate, that means urgency, frequency, and the frustrating sense of never fully emptying. One of my patients, Gary, was in his mid-52nd. His routine was coffee in the morning, iced tea in the afternoon, and sometimes soda at night. He never thought twice about it. But when I asked him to limit himself to 1 cup of coffee in the morning and replace the rest with herbal or decaf alternatives, the change was dramatic. Within 10 days, he reported stronger flow, fewer nighttime interruptions, and deeper sleep. Now, I'm not saying you must give up coffee completely. I love the smell of it myself. But moderation matters. 1 cup in the morning? Perfectly fine. More than that, especially later in the day, and you're fueling the cycle of urgency and poor sleep. Remember, caffeine hides in more than coffee. Black tea, green tea, energy drinks, even chocolate can add to the load. Takeaway: enjoy your morning coffee, but stop there. Your prostate and your sleep will thank you. Now, if caffeine can irritate the prostate, imagine what happens with processed meats, fried foods, and spicy dishes. Let's take a closer look at habit number 7. Food doesn't just fill your stomach, it sends messages to your body. And when it comes to your prostate, the wrong foods can create chaos. Processed foods, bacon, sausages, deli meats, frozen meals are loaded with preservatives, unhealthy fats, and chemicals that fuel inflammation. Spicy foods, hot peppers, chili powders, fiery sauces irritate the bladder and pelvic nerves, tricking your body into thinking it's full when it isn't. The result? More urgency, weaker control, and restless nights. Bill, a 8-year-old patient, was frustrated. He cut back on soda and started walking, but he was still up at night. When I asked about his diet, he laughed. Breakfast is bacon and eggs, lunch is a deli sandwich, and I can't give up my spicy chili for dinner. That was the missing piece. We swapped his meals for grilled chicken, leafy greens, avocado, berries, and a handful of walnuts. Within weeks, Bill felt lighter, clearer, and more in control. He said, "Doc, I feel like myself again." You don't have to be perfect, but be mindful. Every bite is information either inflaming your prostate or calming it. Start small. Cook more at home, add 1 anti-inflammatory food daily, and save spicy or processed meals for special occasions. Takeaway: whole unprocessed foods help your prostate heal, processed and spicy foods keep it inflamed. Now, even with a healthy diet, there's another small daily habit many men ignore, one that puts constant pressure on the bladder and prostate without you realizing it. Let's talk about habit number 6. Here's a habit most men brush off as harmless: holding in your urine. Life gets busy. You're in the middle of a movie, driving on the highway, or watching the big game, and you think, "I'll wait." But every time you ignore the urge, your bladder stretches more than it should. That extra pressure pushes directly onto your prostate. Over time, this constant strain irritates delicate tissues, weakens the muscles that help you empty, and can even leave behind stagnant urine. And stagnant urine is dangerous. It becomes a breeding ground for bacteria, raising your risk of bladder infections and worsening prostate inflammation. I think of Tom, a 7-year-old retired firefighter. For decades, on long shifts, he trained himself to hold it as a sign of discipline. But by the time he came to me, he was waking up 5 times a night, exhausted and frustrated. When I explained the connection, he sighed and said, "Doc, I wish I'd known this years ago." The fix is simple but powerful. When your body says go, listen. Don't wait. Empty your bladder when you feel the urge. Before long drives or long meetings, go proactively. Respect those signals, they're there for a reason. Takeaway: ignoring your bladder doesn't make you stronger. It makes your prostate weaker. Now, while holding urine causes pressure from the inside, there's another habit that attacks your prostate from the outside, something toxic that enters your lungs and blood every time you breathe it. Let's talk about habit number 5. One of the most damaging habits for your prostate is something many men know is bad for the heart and lungs, but don't realize also attacks the prostate: smoking. And even secondhand smoke can be just as harmful. Cigarette smoke contains thousands of chemicals. These toxins restrict blood flow, reduce oxygen, and create chronic inflammation throughout the body, including the prostate. Over time, blood vessels stiffen, healing slows, and your prostate stays irritated. Studies also show smoking increases the risk of aggressive prostate cancer. I'll never forget Walter, a 72-year-old retired construction worker. He told me proudly, "Doc, I quit smoking 10 years ago," but he still had frequent urination and restless nights. When I asked about his routine, he admitted, "Every Friday night I play poker with my buddies and they smoke like it's 1,975. That secondhand smoke was enough to keep his prostate inflamed. Once Walter decided to host smoke-free games at his house, his symptoms improved within weeks. He was sleeping better, his urgency eased, and he felt like the volume on his discomfort had finally been turned down. If you smoke, quitting is the single greatest gift you can give your body. If you've already quit, protect that victory by avoiding smoke-filled environments as much as possible. Takeaway: smoking, even secondhand, silently poisons your prostate. Stay away from it, and your body will begin to heal. Now, while toxins from smoke are dangerous, there's another habit that harms men in a quieter way: skipping regular prostate checkups. Let's move on to habit number 4. Here's a habit that doesn't involve food, water, or smoking, but can be just as dangerous: avoiding yearly prostate checkups. Many men delay seeing a doctor out of fear, pride, or embarrassment. They think, if something's wrong, I'll feel it. But the truth is, prostate problems often develop quietly. A weaker stream here, one extra bathroom trip there, subtle signs that are easy to ignore. By the time symptoms become obvious, the condition may already be advanced. I remember Henry, a 66-year-old businessman. He had been dealing with frequent urination and low energy for over a year. But this was his very first visit to a urologist. When I asked why he waited so long, he shrugged and said, "I didn't want to know." Fortunately, his issue was caught early and corrected with mild treatment and lifestyle changes. But afterward, Henry admitted, "Doc, I wish I hadn't waited. I could have saved myself months of stress." Think about it this way: you service your car regularly, not because it's broken, but to keep it running smoothly. Why should your body deserve less care? A simple PSA blood test, a physical exam, or sometimes a digital rectal exam can reveal problems early, when they're easiest to manage. Takeaway: don't wait for pain or major symptoms. Schedule a yearly prostate checkup. Your future self will thank you. Now, while checkups are critical, what you put on your plate each day also plays a major role. Let's look at habit number 3: eating too much red and processed meat. Let's talk about the food. Many men love steaks, burgers, bacon, sausages. Red and processed meats may taste satisfying, but for your prostate, they can be silent troublemakers. These meats are high in saturated fats, preservatives, and chemicals that fuel inflammation throughout the body. When your prostate is already sensitive, this chronic inflammation is like gasoline on a fire, worsening swelling, disrupting hormones, and increasing urinary problems. Studies have also linked heavy red meat consumption with a higher risk of aggressive prostate disease, even cancer. That doesn't mean you can never enjoy a steak again, but moderation is key. Take Joe, a 70-year-old retired Navy veteran. He came to me complaining of sluggish flow and constant night trips. When I asked about his diet, he chuckled, "Doc, I'm a steak guy, always have been." I encouraged him to cut red meat to just once or twice a week and try lean proteins like chicken, fish, beans, and lentils. Within a few weeks, Joe returned with a different story. "I didn't realize how heavy I'd been feeling until I stopped. My stomach is calmer, I'm sleeping better, and I don't miss the meat as much as I thought." Food is powerful. It can either heal or harm. Choosing whole, unprocessed meals gives your prostate the best chance to stay calm and balanced. Takeaway: limit red and processed meats. Balance your plate with lean proteins and anti-inflammatory foods. Now, if diet is one major factor, there's another that shows up just by looking at your waistline. Let's move on to habit number 2: belly fat and obesity. Now let's talk about something you can see in the mirror: belly fat. Many men dismiss it as just a few extra pounds, but that extra weight around the waist is one of the biggest hidden drivers of prostate problems. Here's why. Belly fat is not just stored energy. It's metabolically active tissue that releases hormones and inflammatory chemicals. It converts valuable testosterone into estrogen, disrupting your natural hormone balance. Less testosterone and more estrogen create the perfect environment for prostate growth. Excess belly fat also increases inflammation and restricts healthy blood flow, both of which make urinary symptoms worse. I remember Leonard, a 64-year-old patient with a great sense of humor. He told me, "Doc, I know I've gained a belly, but how much harm can it really do?" I explained the science, and we set small, realistic goals. A 15-minute walk in the morning, swapping soda for water, and adding an extra serving of vegetables at dinner. Within weeks, Leonard noticed he was waking up less at night and felt more energetic during the day. He told me, "It's not just my prostate. I feel like I got a piece of myself back." The good news is, you don't have to lose 40 pounds to see results. Research shows that losing even 5–7% of your body weight can significantly improve prostate and urinary health. Takeaway: trimming belly fat isn't just cosmetic, it restores hormone balance, lowers inflammation, and helps your prostate heal. Now, we've covered diet, habits, and lifestyle. But there's still one final hidden factor, the one that quietly fuels all the others: stress. Let's move on to habit number 1. Of all the hidden habits that damage the prostate, this last one is often ignored: chronic stress. Most men over 50 were raised to be tough, to just deal with it. They carry decades of responsibility for family, work, and finances, but rarely stop to see what that stress is doing to their body. Here's the truth. Stress doesn't just live in your head, it lives in your body. When you're under constant pressure, your body pumps out cortisol, the stress hormone. Elevated cortisol fuels inflammation, tightens the pelvic muscles, lowers testosterone, and disrupts sleep. That's the perfect recipe for worsening prostate problems. Richard, a 61-year-old retired accountant, seemed calm on the outside. But when I asked about stress, he admitted he was constantly worrying about money, his health, and his purpose after retirement. His body told the story: restless nights, constant urgency, low energy. Instead of more pills, I gave him simple tools: 10 minutes of deep breathing each morning, short walks at sunrise, journaling once a week, and regular time with friends. Within weeks, Richard noticed he was sleeping better, urinating less at night, and finally feeling lighter. He told me, "I didn't realize how much I was holding in until I let it go." Gentlemen, managing stress isn't weakness, it's strategy. Lower stress means lower inflammation, steadier hormones, and a calmer prostate. Takeaway: protecting your prostate starts with protecting your peace of mind. Now, we've revealed all 10 hidden habits. In the final part, I'll show you how to tie everything together with a simple 15-second nightly ritual you can start today. Gentlemen, we've now uncovered the 10 hidden habits that quietly inflame your prostate: cutting back on water, sitting too long, too much caffeine, processed and spicy foods, holding urine, smoking, skipping checkups, eating too much red meat, carrying belly fat, and living under chronic stress. On their own, each habit may seem small, but stacked together day after day, they create the perfect storm-swollen prostate: sleepless nights, weak flow, and fading confidence. Here's the truth. You are not broken. You are not weak. You've simply been operating without the full picture. And now that you know, everything can change. The good news is you don't need radical change. Small, steady steps can restore balance. Hydrate smarter. Move every 30 minutes. Cut back on caffeine. Eat more whole foods. Listen to your bladder. Get your yearly checkup. Trim belly fat. Manage stress. Each step makes the next one easier. And here's a simple ritual to start tonight: the 15-second bedtime practice I teach my patients. Lie on your back in bed and place your hands gently on your lower abdomen. Inhale through your nose for a count of 4, letting your stomach rise. Exhale through your mouth for a count of 6, relaxing your pelvic area. While breathing, gently massage in small circles just above the pubic bone. This short practice calms the nervous system, relaxes the bladder, reduces pressure on the prostate, and helps you sleep deeper. Gentlemen, your prostate is listening. The choice is yours. If this video helped you, please like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment below about which habit surprised you the most. Your story could help another man take action. I'm Dr. Strong. Thank you for being here. And remember, your health is your greatest asset. Protect it.